we're doing that. But the key is you need to get through and get 20 answers on that paper. So if you get hung up on number 4, skip it. Go on to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you get to the end and you've got another minute or two, go back to 4 and try to figure it out. And you need to have 70% to pass the test. So you know you can miss a couple and it's going to be okay. But the key is get your best choice of an answer down as quickly as possible, then go back and check your work. Because you'll get the biggest percentage right. There's no points taken off because you made a mistake. They only look at correct answers. So that's important to know. So let's look at some of those math things. Page 7. Officer Milton visits a local area business as part of a theft prevention program. If Officer Milton visits 3 businesses every week, except for his 3-week vacation, how many groups does he visit in a year? What's the first thing we need to know?
How many weeks?
Okay, how many weeks are there in a year?
52.
52.
And subtract 3.
And why do I subtract 3?
Because it's
Okay, so we're dealing with how many? 49. And then what? Is that our answer? Because that's one of the answers here.
Times it by 3.
And why do I times it by 3?
Visits 3 businesses a week.
Okay, he does 3 every week. So now what's our answer? How many visits is he going to make in a year's time?
147.
147. Every word problem is like that. I taught math, and kids would just say word problem, and they'd start getting nervous. Because there's always a couple things in there you don't need to know, but you have to pull out the things that you do need to know. Okay, I mean, we know he's going to visit local businesses. Do we care that it's part of a theft prevention program? Well, as a police officer, you're going to care, but you don't really need to care about that for this problem, do you? You need to know there's 52 weeks in a year. You need to know that he's taking a 3-week vacation and that he's visiting 3 businesses, each of those 49 weeks, for 147 visits. Okay, here's the next one. In preparing a report on a burglary in a dentist's office, Sergeant Kramer listed the following stolen items and their values. A digital camera, $810. Laptop computer, $650. Printer, $325. Paper shredder, $125. Okay, first question. What was the total value of all the stolen goods? How am I going to get the total value? Add them all together. Who's got it added together already?
1910.
Okay, $1,910. All you have to do is add them together. And remember, you're going to have scrap paper during the test that you can write on. Don't write on your answer sheet other than to color in your little circles, because they're read by a machine, and the machine will pick up any random marks that you put on that paper, and it'll mark them wrong because it'll think you've got a weird answer out there. So make sure you do all of your ciphering, or whatever you want to call it, on that extra piece of paper. Okay, but the third question, what was the value of all the stolen goods except the paper shredder? And how did you get $1,785?
Subtract 125 from the total number 2.
Okay, great. Sergeant Kramer went out in the alley, and the paper shredder was sitting in the alley. The guy didn't have enough arm strength to carry them all away. So they didn't lose the paper shredder after all. So you subtract that value from the total value, and you come up with $1,785. Good. Okay. Here's one of those ones. We're going to start New York and then San Francisco, and the train, not quite, but you know. During one 5-day period, Officer Fernandez drove his patrol motorcycle 225 miles. If he drove 85 miles on one day, how many miles did he average on each of the other days? How am I going to solve this problem? What's the first thing I need to do?
Subtract 85 from 225.
All right, we're going to subtract 85 from 225. You tell me why.
Because that's what he drove in one day, and if you're going to find out the average of 5 days, you're going to have to get that answer before you divide it by 5.
Okay, but are we going to get And are we gonna get an average of 5 days?
4 days.
Let's try and take
4
it.
days, right, okay, so you need to subtract out the one day you went 85 miles, because they're not asking you, and that's where you have to read the problem. They're not asking you what was his average over the whole 5 days. They're asking you what's his average over the other days after the 85 is taken out. All right, so we subtract the 85 from the total of 225 miles, and then what do? How do we get the average? Divided by the 4 days that are left, right? So what's our answer?
It would be 10.
What?
It would be 10.
Would be? How'd you get 10? 10 isn't even on the isn't an option even. Okay, we have 225 miles. We're going to subtract 85. So we're left with 140. And we're going to find the average of 4 days, total of 140 miles. You can do what? You can
4 goes into 125 times, and then
Okay.
gets divided by 4, that's 10, so it's 35.
Okay, great. That's one way to do it. You could do a whole long division problem and take 140 and divide it by 4, and it goes into 14, 3, 12, 20, 5.
You didn't even have to do all that.
No, you didn't.
Because there's only
You didn't
one,
do that.
one problem on, or one answer that has 3 on here.
Okay. You're right.
So I just stopped at 3, like, oh, it's.
See, that's good time management. Good job. He said, well, he knows it's going to be a 3, and there was only one answer that had a 3 in the beginning. So he didn't have to finish out the division problem. Another way to do it, you think about, okay, it's 140 miles and it's 4 days. Well, if I divide it in half, it's 70, and half of 70 again is 35, so now I've got 4s. So you can do it with fractions, you can do it with long division, you can do it the way the gentleman in the back said. There's many ways to do any of these problems, and they're all fine.
Is my math wrong? Because I got 32 and a half for 4 into 140.
Well, 3 times 4 is 12. You're going to subtract, you've got 20. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 4 is 20.
I was averaging 140 divided by 4 days.
It is 140 divided by 4 days. Okay,
32 and a half.
4 goes into 14 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12.
Yeah.
Okay, subtract the 2 from the 4 and you've got another 2.
Oh,
Bring down your 0.
That's where my math was wrong. I got 1. I
Yeah.
got 3 minus 2 is 1.
Okay, yeah, no, 3 times 4 is 12. So, all right, you're doing great. And I understand there's some more of these in the back of your thing that you can practice on at home. But the key to math problems, to word problems like this, is read them thoroughly. Just like the gentleman in the purple said, it's a 3, so he didn't go any further. He knew that that was the right answer. So that's going to save some time. And like I said again, if you get hung up on it, if it just doesn't make any sense at all to you, what are you going to do? Skip it and go back. Because your goal is to get 70% correct. So you want to get to the end accurately and then go back and work on the ones, take more time with the ones that have hung you up a bit. Okay. Okay, and we're going to work on some grammar things. So we're going to skip over to page 15. I'm going to put as an English teacher, which I also was for a while, I'm going to put my biggest nemesis on this board. I'll bet you could read the paper tomorrow morning and you're going to find a mistake using one of these words there. Because people get them mixed up all the time. T-H-E-R-E is what?
Play.
It's a place. He's over there. The car was parked there, whatever. What is T-H-E-I-R?
Possessive.
It's something belongs to me. It's their box. It's their bicycle. Belongs to you. It's possessive. And what is there?
Contraction.
It's a contraction. What does it stand for?
They are.
Okay, they are. When you have an apostrophe up here, it means you've left the letter out. So what this really is saying is they are. They are going to the store. Okay, there. This is going to be a big bugaboo. It's on your practice sheet here. So obviously it's been a problem in the past because they've included it in the test. Okay, let's look at number 14. There were 3 blank at the accident scene. How about you? Tell me what's the correct answer for number 14.
What, 14?
Uh-huh.
15?
14. Look at 14. Right there. There are 3 what? Witnesses. Which one is that? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Put add a little stress to you, like be like test day.
No, 3 witnesses is, no.
Yeah. Go with your gut.
Yeah.
B. Witnesses. ES. Plural. What would apostrophe S be?
Possessive.
Possessive. Okay. The box belongs, or the boxes belong to the witnesses. That's, or no, it's the witnesses box. Then it's singular possessive. The box belongs to the witnesses. ES is plural. That means many witnesses. Okay. So those are the things you're going to have to practice. Apostrophe S is possessive. Something belongs to them. ES or just plain S is plural. It means more than one. Okay, number 15. The lieutenant decided blank was enough evidence to issue an arrest. Which of these 3 things? A. Okay, if there was enough evidence. Good. Officer Perez and blank arrested the subject. What? I. Okay, Officer Perez and I arrested the subject. A lot of us use a lot of slang and it filters in and we don't even realize we're saying it. And we throw me in there a lot where it doesn't belong. If it sounds wrong to you when you read it, it probably is. Always go with your first instinct, your gut feeling, because that's probably right. Don't talk yourself out of it. Okay, a recent study found that alcohol was a common factor in traffic accidents. Which word in the above sentence is misspelled? Alcohol. How's it supposed to be spelled?
A-L-C-O-H-O.
Now, I have to tell you that when we were going over this that day we had our meeting, I read number 18 about 10 times because I could not find the mistake in this one. Who can tell me what the mistake is?
Secretary.
Secretary, right. A-R-Y, not E-R-Y. Boy, that sure hung me up then. Okay. The other 2 sections of this are really more paying attention to what you're reading. So like if you look at page 10, this is comprehension. You've got a full long, 5 paragraphs to read, where they're talking about a new traffic law that they're putting into effect, and license tags are all lettered differently based on what they can and cannot do. The thing about these kinds of things, read it, and don't labor over it. Just kind of skim through it, because you're going to be able to go back and look to see what your answer is. You shouldn't ever miss any of these, because if you're reading down, it says, let's see, let's look at 7. According to the passage, what type of license plate will be assigned to Lucy, who owns a clothing store in the city center? Well, right there in big bold print are all the different kinds of license tags. So you can quickly look and see, oh, let's see, A, oh, that's city services, K, public transportation, that wouldn't be right. B, delivery vehicles, no. Q, let's see, oh, shop and business owners. Let's see, this was Lucy, who owns a clothing store. So what kind of license tag is she gonna have?
Q.
Q, okay? So it's all right there in front of you. So read through so you know what the gist of it is, so it makes sense to you. But then it's pretty easy to go back quickly and just check and make sure that you remembered it correctly. So those are just things to look at. I haven't ever taken this test before, but then I took it. I mean, I took what was in here. The other piece, writing complete sentences. That's a piece of this grammar stuff too. That last part, starting on page 18, 17, 18. They're telling you, well actually the directions are probably on 16, 17, okay, 17. This is writing skills. They want to see if you'll be able to write up those reports. I have a son-in-law who's a police officer in Manhattan. And this is a change in life career for him. He's 40 years old, he's been a police officer for a year. So I know when he was prepping for it, he was in the gym working out and he was running and everything before he took that physical test because he knew how important that was. And we watched him do that for a 3 months before he went to take the test to build his body up. So we know that's important. But I know he tells me that, okay, I'm out there and they work 10-hour shifts, 4 10-hour shifts a week. And he says, I'm out there and we're doing our